Ondo State High Court has sentenced Sunday Omoniyi to death by hanging for killing his roommate Michael Oyebanji during a dispute over a closed door. The confrontation occurred on July 23, 2022 at 4 Canaan Land, Ujioka Road, Akure. Witnesses testified that Omoniyi stabbed Oyebanji in the chest after an earlier argument, leaving him in a pool of blood. Neighbors rushed Oyebanji to hospital, but he was confirmed dead on arrival. Police arrested Omoniyi shortly after recovering the blood-stained knife used in the attack. In court, co-tenants said the initial quarrel had appeared resolved, but moments later they heard cries of pain and found the fatal scene. Omoniyi reportedly admitted to stabbing Oyebanji in retaliation for a punch. Justice W.R.O. Olimide ruled that the prosecution proved its case beyond reasonable doubt, citing the defendant's confession and collaborating witness testimony. Omoniyi was convicted under Section 319 of the Ondo State Criminal Code and ordered to face execution by hanging. This is a rather really sad report, but in day-to-day life and in day-to-day experiences, you find out that little altercations like this in human interactions and relationships, and someone is facing a death penalty like death by hanging. What are your thoughts on this report?
It's just it's a sad story. It's sad because thinking about it, like having such a light issue as closing the door, right?
Right.
Leading to the death of someone else. It's just a sad one, and I just reeks of anger. I think. I mean, what would make someone do that to another person? It's definitely anger. So I just feel like people out there should be much more conscious of themselves, should be more in control of themselves, not doing things like this. Because when I feel like when some people get angry, they lose their sense of rational thinking. Because now, I'm sure when he had already stabbed the guy, sadly, probably realized then that things have gone overboard, and now he's facing a death sentence as well. I just want to speak to people out there to be much more in control of themselves, trying to ensure that they try to what's the word? When you have situations or problems going on with colleagues, with spouses, relationships, try to take a chill view, a step back to reanalyze what is going on and your actions. Think about the things that could happen when you take such actions, right? And also, this might seem like some might say it's a bit abstract, but I think we need to talk about these things more.
Right.
In our society, if possible, even include things like mental health checks and studies in schools. I know it sounds like something that is weird, but I feel like people need to understand, that their mental health is important.
No.
Yeah.
Given situations where you see even parents and their children have altercations with other students in school, people say things like, my child is very weak, I need you to be able to fight back. So oftentimes over the internet and in real time and in real life, I've seen parents say, oh, I'm training my child this way, I'm putting them in a boxing school so they will be able to fight people that bully them. At the end of it all, when you look at this report, do you think that there should be a point where people decide to use their fists as opposed to using communication as a better means of resolving disputes?
I mean, yes, people do that, and I'm not against that at all.
Okay.
I mean, these are all, you can still call it life skills, but still, and when we put that on one side, conflict resolution is also something you can teach your kids or teach people. Okay? Before you resort to violence or in quotes self-defense for any reason, with whatever skill you have, maybe as a boxer, as a kung fu, or specialist or whatnot, you should try to, resolve the issue. Conflict resolution has to be the first option.
All right.
Then when in quotes, there's a threat to your life in a way, the threat to life, you can then decide to defend yourself. I mean, from the report, it was said that the deceased
All right.
punched him first, like, punched
But
him
but but
first.
how does receiving a punch? At what point did he grab the knife after the punch? Was the knife just sitting on the table to be grabbed?
Yeah, so that's what I'm heading to. I mean, even if there was physical um, action, the punch back. I'm not saying everybody should just punch back, and all of that. But a punch back would have been the least likely to death, right? So it's all about anger and resolving conflict.
Right.
The guy probably felt he needs to make a statement or have decided that, oh, the knife is the best way to go. And now look at the whole mess. So
Right.
it's all about thinking about these things, trying to resolve things before you even, go overboard.
That's it. Now, thank you so much. But I also want to gather your thoughts. You mentioned and talked about how maybe some form of conflict resolution classes should hold online and talking about mental health. Do you think that this should actually start even from the primary school, where people are taught to regulate their feelings, people are taught to, oftentimes this happens because people are unable to actually regulate how they are feeling, right? When the anger, we're still going to talk about that during this report, but you can see the situation with the lady on the flight that has been trending recently. The level of anger, the level of aggression she was feeling. There's been certain quarters and people have said she was probably pushed to be that upset as she was by the hostesses of the Ibom Air, and that has been trending for the past few days. But do you think that holistically, if we have a system where anger management is introduced from, basic primary education and is continued towards university, we have people that would be able to resolve conflicts more logically as they should, as opposed to using the fist?
Yeah, definitely. That's why I shared earlier that these things should be talked about more actively. Back in the days, I'm sure there were cases such as this. Nowadays, we have it in more prominent frequency, right? If I may use that word. So I feel like talking about it from even the primary schools, it might not be on the syllabus, but it could be maybe doing extracurricular activities,
Right.
which is schools, to talk about these things, mental health, um, domestic abuse, conflict resolution skills, try to make people understand that when there is issue or when there is a problem, when both parties are all flaring, in most cases nothing good comes out of it. And choosing to be the bigger person doesn't make you a weak person. It doesn't make you a fool, because in most cases in the African society, nobody wants to be a fool.
All right.
In quotes, nobody wants to be seen as a weaker person. Nobody wants to be stepped on. If you give it to me, I have to give it to you back, because literally that's what works in our society.
Right.
But that does not help in many cases, because at the end of the day, you find out people fighting, leading to death and all of that. So talking about these things sensitizing people to be more conscious of their temperaments,
Right.
to involve themselves in conflict resolution skills, how to deal with situations is the best way to go around in marriages, in schools, in life generally.
Right.
Like I said, it's good. These things will not stop completely, but if you don't check them, it becomes the order of the day. Things are so hard currently with the economy being so hard. People are literally their breaking point. So little things flare people up. So now is even a good time to talk about these things. When last did you take a break from your stressful work? When last did you talk to someone about what you're going through? When you're in situations such as this, what do you do? Do you just raise a fist back, or do you try to report to the police, or do you try to report to someone? that can talk to, that can mediate in such situations. These are things we can look at. And even if you want to take actions or physical action, killing off a line is not the best way to go about it.
Right.
I mean, like I said, if it's a threat to life, that was completely wrong decision by